was a bit of...
I think there's been every emotion. I live in East London, and I've just sort of on our head every emotion. So you can imagine that people that actually in that
I hope
of course you can. I'm not going
So actually, yeah, so
This is the table area. Yeah. Somebody on the table area.
okay, it's all great. People come to find if they... So I think that's what it's been arranged with all the see and also any problems with the police, any arrests, they will go
Yeah. It'll be heated in many ways. No. She said she was just got off the underground, so maybe she'll be working her way over. I'll keep an eye out.
Out! Tory! 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 That's better. I think we were being a bit quiet before. Let's do a bit of chanting so that Theresa May and her cronies can hear us. What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! What do we want? Justice! When do we want it? Now! Tory, Tory, Tory! Awesome. So, I'm Samir. I'm going to be facilitating this demo. I'm an activist and just general troublemaker. So it's amazing that so many of you have turned out on this scorching hot day. As you know, there's been a lot of protests in recent days since that magnificent day on the 8th of June. And we can be sure that there are going to be a lot more protests in the coming weeks and months. That's a very good thing. This is exactly what we need, because as Jeremy Corbyn said recently, we need to go into permanent campaign mode. And what did John McDonnell say? 1 million people on the streets. What we need to do, we can't rest on our laurels. We need to follow through and deliver the final death blow to Theresa May's nasty, bigoted, terrorist sympathising government. Are you ready to deliver the final death blow? Amazing. So we are all of us in a state of shock for the atrocity that took place 3 days ago at Grenfell Tower. Testing. It was an atrocity at Grenfell Tower. It wasn't just some tragic accident. That was a man-made disaster. And Grenfell Tower will forever stand as a grim symbol of the cruelty of the austerity regime. And we have to say never again. And we stand in solidarity with all the victims, their loved ones, and all the protesters and supporters who are out there in Kensington right now, protesting against the austerity regime. Friends, these are truly incredible times. The tide is turning for us. And I know that's something I know a lot of you have probably heard a lot. Many of you have probably been to a lot of protests, had a lot of speeches where you've been told that the tide is changing. And it never seems to change. But given the amazing events over the last few weeks, I think we can safely say that for the first time in our lifetimes, the iron grip of the 1% that it's had over us all our lives is finally weakening. And we need to follow through. We need to follow through and finish what we started. Are you ready to follow through? Awesome. Just a quick point. People standing over there, can you try and move if you can that way, because there are going to be more people coming and we need to free up the road for traffic. So if you can, try and move up. Okay, I think we'll have some speeches now. So our first speaker is Marsha de Cordova, who has just beaten the Tories in Battersea. No one expected the Tories to be beaten in that safe seat. But Marsha fought an absolutely spirited campaign, and we're delighted that she joins us in Parliament in one of the most diverse Labour Party that we've ever had. Please give a warm welcome to Marsha de Cordova.
Humbled and honoured as the Member of Parliament for Battersea. A seat that many said was unwinnable, but we the people, we defied all odds and took Battersea with a 10% swing. We now have a 2,500 majority. We ran a grassroots campaign with young people from all across the country, okay, that came to campaign with us. We had people coming down that have never campaigned before, but came to Battersea as their first time, knocking on hundreds of doors. It was a real, true testament of the people power. We also had the best manifesto the Labour Party has ever produced in history. We were offering people hope, better housing, better NHS, a national education service and social care that would support disabled people like myself. And now, if there's one thing we know after the general election, and it's that Theresa May has no mandate to rule. She needs to go. And if we allow the DUP to prop up a May Conservative government, it will be a disaster for us, right? We all know by now that the DUP are a viciously homophobic and misogynistic party, okay? The DUP have blocked gay marriage, have campaigned against LGBTQ rights, and they oppose abortion and the woman's right to choose. They even argue that climate change is a myth. The prospect of this coalition worries many of us living with a disability. And I don't need to tell you the Tory track record on disability cuts, okay? Vicious cuts to disabled people's benefits, assessments that have seen people take their own lives, okay? We know that 44% of young people living with a disability are living in poverty, and nearly 14,000 of them have lost their mobility cards. This cannot carry on, and we can't allow this to continue. And a coalition of a cruel Tory government, propped up by DUP, will not work, and it will only make things worse for people like myself and others. And we all need to keep a movement going. This movement, this election was full of spirit, and we need to keep going. We need to campaign constantly. We need to be organising constantly. We need to be marching constantly, and we need to be protesting constantly. Like many of you here today, I stand here numbed by the horrific loss of what happened at the Grenfell Tower. I'm numb by the pain and the suffering. And in the middle of this unnecessary tragedy, we have a Prime Minister that, in my opinion, was dragged kicking and screaming down to West London in this week gone. Back in April, Jeremy Corbyn said, "We don't accept that it is natural for Britain to be governed by the ruling elite. We don't accept that the British people just have to take what is given to them. We don't accept that, and we deserve better." And he is right, and we all here today are right, because those children and parents and grandparents that live there, they deserve better. The refugees studying for a better life deserve better. Those pensioners there hoping to enjoy their retirement deserve better. None of the victims must remain and still remain, many of the victims still remain unnamed and or more likely no longer here with us, and they should have been able to live in a decent home, a safe home. Theresa May is on notice. It's time for it to go. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marsha. Our next speaker is another parliamentarian, Rupa Huq, who's just won in Ealing Central and Acton. An absolutely stunning victory. In 2015, she had a wafer-thin majority of less than 300. She now has a stonking majority of over 13,000. So without further ado, give a warm welcome to Rupa Huq.
Thank you, friends. Look, it was Harold Wilson, wasn't it? Labour Prime Minister who won elections, and not just Blair who was a Labour Prime Minister who won elections, but Harold Wilson said a week is a long time in politics. And a week ago, we were, things were very, 2 weeks ago, things were very different to today. 2 weeks ago, it wasn't certain that I'd be here as Rupa Huq MP. I was in the fight of my life. The Tories threw everything they had at my seat. Theresa May came. Ealing showed Theresa May what we think of her. And as was pointed out, my majority, there was 200 odd. If you put that in a calculator, 274, times it by 50, you get 13,800 and whatever it is now. So look, I'm really proud that we did this. And a week ago as well, things were very different today, because a week ago, we were really pleased that we'd got a Labour MP in Kensington, the People's Republic of Kensington, along with Marsha, along with Canterbury, these places that have never been Labour before. We had a Labour MP in Kensington, and there were people at Kensington Town Hall last Friday who were jubilant at that count. Whatever that next election is. And you know, you don't do any kind of negotiation by pissing off the 27 other partners in it, by saying I'm a bloody difficult woman, by insulting our closest friends and allies, which is what she's done. And once again, we have a Tory Prime Minister who's put party ahead of country. This is what Cameron did as well with his referendum. We were in it, we were doing quite nicely. Why did he do this? Because they can think short term. They can think about that election on Thursday, but they do not think about our children and our children's children. And what a massive miscalculation this was. And now she's saying that it's the DUP who is going to prop her up. Friends, this is really shameful. Nobody in England, nobody in Scotland, nobody in Wales voted for the DUP. And even people I know, constituents of mine from Northern Ireland, have said that they fled there, away from people like that. And now these 10 people with their very backward views on women's reproductive rights, on homosexuality, are going to be calling the shots. She seems to have them, you know, they've got her over a barrel, which is all wrong. Does it remind you of something? You know, this coalition of chaos? Stronger hand has massively misfired. Another massive miscalculation. When will these Tories stop doing this? I feel it can't limp on, friends, for 5 years like this. We don't even know what is happening beyond Wednesday. And so look, There is a saying, isn't there, that all political careers end in failure. Let us make that come true with humanity. When he did those TV debates, they should have just replaced her with a tub of lard, I think. But anyway, people old enough will remember what I'm on about when I say that. But when he did those debates, he turned out to be someone with humility who understands people's problems, whereas she was a desiccated calculating machine that just thought by saying this strong and stable, break, exterminate, you know, she's not even strong and stable in her own mind. 1 minute she was a Remainer, and now she's trying to lurch us into this hardest of hard Brexits. We won't allow her to do that. We will not forget the racist fans that said go home or face arrest. We're not going to forget her. I hope she can hear over there. So look, they say all political careers end in failure. Let's make that into reality. We are ready for you, Theresa May, whenever that next election comes. And we will make your life hell between now and then. Thank you, friends.
Thank you so much, Rupa. Right, our next speaker is yet another Labour parliamentarian and one of the most inspiring, I think, in Parliament at the moment, Angela Rayner. From a working class background, a young single mum working against all the odds to, as we know, become one of the most important members of the Corbyn project. I can't wait to see what she does when we get into government. Please give a warm welcome to Angela Rayner.
Thank you. Hello. I'm so proud to stand in front of you today as one of Jeremy Corbyn's cabinet in waiting. But I have to start today on a somber note, because I want to send my love and solidarity to all those from Grenfell Towers who lost loved ones or whose loved ones are injured or hurt. The truth will out in the end about what happened there, and we must demand sprinklers, not just in our high-rises, but in our schools and in our public services and buildings. If it's good enough for the luxury flats in Kennington, it's good enough for everywhere else. One of those families deserve to be rehoused in their area, in their homes, and we will make sure that happens. Well, London, well, what did Theresa May say? Coalition of chaos? If you voted for Labour, a weak leader? Look what we have now, a coalition of chaos under Theresa May and a weak leader. But you know what's worse than a Tory government? A Tory government propped up by the DUP. By an organisation that backs terrorism, that...
Here today, colleagues, that it won't just be the victims of Grenfell who will be supported on a judicial review. Every block of flats that has that cladding on, Unite will back them on a judicial review as to why they have no sprinklers and why the cladding is there. Colleagues, friends, I was 2 years old in Northern Ireland whenever the DUP was created. And I lived my childhood from 1971 onwards in violence and in conflict. Two communities competing for supremacy over the other. Two communities not understanding of the reality that equality is what drives justice, not supremacy. And colleagues, the DUP was part of that. The DUP voted to bring down Sunningdale. It voted against the Good Friday Agreement. The DUP was part of that fight for supremacy, a party that put religion before their politics and before democracy. But colleagues, the DUP moved through the peace process. They moved into coalition with Sinn Féin into power sharing, and they created a peace in Northern Ireland. Not perfect, but a peace. And this one is orange. Well, colleagues, the future is neither orange nor green. The future is for our class and for our people, not for any religious sectarianism. So my message, the message of Unite to Theresa May is, your legacy is already trashed. You have lives on your conscience. Don't put more lies on your conscience. Don't see the end of the Northern Ireland peace process to hang on to your grubby power for a few more desperate weeks. And my message to the DUP, comrades, is that my Unite members who voted for you voted not to prop up an austerity government. They voted because you committed to investment. You committed to health and education. Don't turn your back on the people who voted for you. It's the end of austerity, not just for parts of Northern Ireland, but for the whole of the UK. Colleagues, there's a movement happening. There's from Grenfell and communities, and we will bring justice for our class. The end of the Tory party is weeks away.
Thank you, Howard, and thank you for all the work that you do for us. So shall we mix it up with a bit of music now? So we have an act who does great music, great politics. Give a warm welcome to Hollow the Activist Choir.
Hello, everybody. We're going to get you singing. So much is going on, and can we keep quiet about it? No. So we're going to sing a song called I Can't Keep Quiet, which was sung at the Women's March. And you need to sing the chorus, which goes, I can't keep quiet, no, 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 no. Sing that. I can't keep quiet, no, 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 no. I can't keep quiet, no, 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 no. Right, we're going for it. I've got my wonderful singers here. You probably can't hear them because there's no mics, but never mind. Okay, so okay. I can't keep quiet for anyone. No, not anymore. 'Cause no one knows me, no one ever will. If I don't say something, if I just lie still, would I be that monster, scare them all away? If I let them hear what I have to say, I can't keep quiet. I can't keep quiet. No, 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 no. I can't keep quiet. No, 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 no. One woman riot. No, 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 no. I can't keep quiet for anyone. No, not anymore. Huge experience fighting against fascism, fighting against racism, a leading member of UAF. Please give a warm welcome to Sabi Dalu.
Thank you very much, and well done to all of you. This is such a huge crowd. Well done for coming out on a lovely day. You could have been sunbathing in a park, but no, you're here protesting against this dreadful government. I'd like to firstly begin by saying showing my solidarity with the people of Grenfell Tower and how awful that fire was. And firstly, to send condolences to those who lost loved ones. its so-called links to terrorism, the Tories have jumped into bed with terrorists themselves because...
How are you feeling? You okay? You a bit hot? High energy, good? Awesome. Well, I'm really, really psyched to introduce our next speaker, Aaaron Bastani from Novara Media. If you haven't checked out Novara Media, please, please do. A left-wing, well, a radical left online news outlet. And when for so long the Liberal commentariat were getting it monumentally wrong on Corbyn, Aaron and the rest of Novara Media have been getting it. Aaaron Bastani!
Wow, what a hype man. So a lot of people have asked me in the last few days, how did you get it right with Jeremy Corbyn and how did the mainstream media get it so badly wrong? I'll tell you one reason why. Well, actually it's many reasons, but fold into a category. This country has got so much wrong with it right now. Home ownership at its lowest level since 1985-86. Nearly 17 million people of working age with less than £100 in their bank account. Real pay, household median pay, down 10.4% in 9 years. All of this is without precedent. Not just in the post-war period, ever. In the last 2 centuries, we've not seen pay go down like we have in the last 10 years. And it falls hardest of all on the young and the most vulnerable. It does. It does. And I always said there will be a backlash against this. You cannot govern in the name of so few against the interests of so many. It is not tenable. It is not tenable. It is like a law of gravity. What goes up must come down. And it is the same with these pigs with their mouths in the trough. You cannot eat and eat and eat. You cannot insist that you pick our pocket and make us look the other way, because we will eventually see precisely what you are doing, and that's what happened last week. 12.8 million people saw what was happening. They stood up and they said, no more. No more. No more looking at my bank account at the end of the week and there not being any money in there. No more when I try to put and pay my bills at the end of the month and I'm crying because I can't make ends meet. No more when I look my child in the eye and say, maybe you can't go to university because the debt is too much and the opportunities are too little. No more can we have energy and rail and water giving profits to... Nationalisation does not cost the taxpayer money. It makes us money. It makes us money. Because it's making somebody else money right now. The point is they will lie and deceive and con you to believe otherwise. And this is a myth perpetuated across the establishment. It is so strong, so rigid, so daily enforced that even many of your friends and family will believe it. And this is the strength of this movement. Not the print papers, not the radio, not the television. It's each and every one of you saying to your colleagues, your friends, your family members, this is wrong, they are lying, we are for the many, not the few. And as a speaker said briefly before me, moments ago, this is an organisation with hundreds, maybe 1,000 members. This is not Britain. Britain is so much better than backroom deals with racists and homophobes. And old men who would want to deny women the right of abortion, the right of controlling their own destinies and their own bodies. They will never govern this country, not in my name, not in your name. And then secondly, Grenfell Tower. How could I not talk about Grenfell Tower and what's happened there? I was there last night. It's remarkable to look at that ruin. It really brings it home, and I think that explains why so many journalists are quizzing Theresa May in a way now that they haven't done for a year, because it is a symbol of an economic system in failure, in collapse, in freefall. Clive Lewis had the bravery yesterday to say burn neoliberalism, not people. They were having an argument. One said we should riot, one said we shouldn't. One said the last thing we need is more chaos, businesses being shut down, the police arresting people. They had a to and fro. Eventually the other one conceded, said, yes, you're right. Yes, you are right. But what other choice do we have? Where is our voice? Where is our representation? How do we change this country? I would say to that young man, there is a way to change this country. It hasn't seemed that way for so long, but there is. It's a Labour government led by Jeremy Corbyn. It's a Labour government led by Jeremy Corbyn. Not just for 1 year, or 2 years, or 6 months, but for 3 terms. This is, brothers and sisters, this is our 1989. This is our 1945. The moment we're about to embark on is bigger than Thatcherism. Together, we're going to change this country. Let's do it. One mind at a time, one conversation at a time. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aaron. Okay, well, since the Tories have got into bed with the DUP, public attention in this country has turned towards the scandal.
Or
Solidarity! Thank you, Ellen Paula from the awesome Deepak. Okay, our next speaker is, I think...
Thanks very much. I want to talk to you about the DUP, but before I talk about the DUP, I want to make one thing absolutely clear, that I am 100%, like everybody else here, against any Tory government. I don't care whether they're allied with the Liberal Democrats, I don't care whether they're allied with the Sinn Féin, I don't care whether they're allied with the Munster Raving Loony Party. We don't want a Tory government. With that in mind, I want to draw something to your attention about the DUP. There's something you need to know about the DUP. They are a tiny political organisation. They got